This is definitely a jungle gym.
Oh, this has been one of the most challenging hikes. Hello from the Adirondacks. When you last saw us, we were in Buffalo, New York, and we have since driven 6.5 hours northeast to near Lake Placid to spend the next couple days backpacking in the High Peaks Wilderness and summiting the highest point in New York, Mount Marcy.
There are 46 high peaks in the Adirondacks called 46ers, and Mount Marcy is the tallest at 5,344 feet. You can do the Mount Marcy hike as a long 17-mile day hike, or you can combine it with other trails in the area for an even longer backpacking experience. And over the next 2 days, we're going to do a 20-mile backpacking trip on the Avalanche Pass to Mount Marcy Loop Trail. We just made it to a free campsite really close to the trailhead, and tomorrow morning we will begin our backpacking adventure. It's 6 a.m. and we're about to start the hike. The trail that we're doing starts at the Adirondack Lodge, which does have a fee to park. It's $15 per day, but it's less if you're an Adirondack Club member, but the money does go towards keeping the area maintained. And today's plan is to hike about 6 or 7 miles on the Avalanche Pass trail to Lake Colden to hang out for the day and camp for the night.
We made it to Marcy Dam, which is about 2.5 miles into the trail. We're finally coming out of the woods. The sun's coming up and we're getting our first peek at some of the peaks here in the High Peak Wilderness. We made it to Avalanche Lake, which is a really cool lake that's tucked between 2 rock faces, and to get around this lake, it's going to be a very fun adventure. There are ladders, there are bridges. People basically say it's like a jungle gym to get to the other side of the lake, and people have said it's not really the best trail for dogs, but if you can carry your dog in some parts, you should be fine. Kona's basically a little mountain goat. She loves to climb up things, so we're hoping she does okay, and if not, we'll just have to carry her. Okay, here's the first major ladder, 14 rungs. Pause the video now and comment below if you think Kona can get up it by herself.
You got it, girl. Oh. She just went for it. Good job, Kona. This is so fun. I love when trails just have unique features like this.
I think the thrill is gone for her. She's not wanting to go up even just the small 2 or 3 rung ones, having to carry her a lot more. That's okay. What was that?
It was cooler in my head. This is definitely a jungle gym.
Ta-da!
Home sweet home. We have set up our home for the night at one of the designated campsites near Lake Colden. There are a bunch of different campsites in this area, and they're marked on the All Trails map, and they also have these yellow circular signs on the trees to kind of point you in the right direction of where the campsites are. We think we're the only ones camping out here right now, so we had our pick of all the sites, but we chose a site that's really close to the trail we need to be on in the morning just to make our lives easier. We don't have a view or anything like that, but we're surrounded by all the trees, and it's super nice and peaceful.
We talked about bear safety when we backpacked in the Wind River Range, but the Adirondacks are home to black bears, and there's a few bear safety precautions that you need to take if you're overnighting out here. Number one, you need to carry a bear canister. They actually had a problem in this area with bears getting into food. They actually got into those thin blue plastic bear containers. So they highly recommend you bring one of these heavy duty guys like this. You can rent these at the trailhead or in town in Lake Placid. Another important tip to follow is you don't want to eat in or around your campsite or your tent. So we've come over to this nice little stream here to eat some lunch.
We've basically spent the last few hours doing absolutely nothing. We've been laying around in the tent. I dozed off for a bit. We went for a little walk, so nothing too exciting to show you guys, but for us, it was much needed. We just really wanted a day to relax out here because tomorrow is a huge day. We have 13 miles to get back to the van, and that includes hiking up to the summit of Mount Marcy, so we're gonna spend the rest of the night just gearing up for that and hitting the hay early. Ready to get up?
We're on the trail for day 2. The sign by the campsite said we have 4.2 miles until we get to the top of Mount Marcy. Let's do this. What just happened?
I just wiped out in the mud. This trail is so muddy. You have to be so careful. There's hardly anywhere to step. And I was trying to step on this log and my entire leg went into the mud.
This trail is never boring. It keeps you on your toes. You either have these big wooden ladders like this, suspension bridges, and especially all kinds of mud, especially if you fall in it like someone here. Nice, did better than me.
Not gonna lie, the mud has made this hike pretty brutal this morning. There's like a fun amount of mud and then there's a brutal amount of mud. So that peak behind me is Mount Marcy. We have like under 2 miles to go. It looks so far and like so much more elevation. I don't know if it's because we haven't really climbed like a true large mountain in about 2 months or so. Haven't backpacked in about 2 months, but this is kicking our butts.
Oh, this has been one of the most challenging hikes, not just because we have these heavy packs on, but just every single step is an awkward step. You're stepping over a stone or a root or a big giant rock. Oh, it's been challenging.
We just got our first glimpse of the views that we will see from the top of Mount Marcy, which gave me like a burst of energy to make it all the way to the top. We did talk to some people and they said super windy on top, so it's probably gonna be one of those get up there, take our quick photo, head back down kind of thing. But okay, we're almost there. We're in the Alpine zone. Let's do it. This never happens. It's always me that's dying. Yeah, I don't know, just seeing the views got me so stoked. hands down the most powerful wind we've ever been in our entire lives. It was pushing me over. I could barely stand up. We were trying to power through so we could see all the views, which are freaking phenomenal up here. There are just mountains everywhere, and the mountains are our absolute favorite place to be. We've missed being in the mountains so much, so we are on cloud 9 right now.
We have made it back to the Marcy Dam, which is about 2 to 2.5 miles left to the van. We're back to the Adirondack Lodge. But this last 5.5-ish miles has just been a grind. .1 miles. It sure feels good to sit down.
At the trailhead is Adirondack Lodge, which has rooms and beds you can rent before or after your hike. They also have a restaurant called The Hungry Hiker, which has burgers and other items, but unfortunately it's closed today. But that's okay, because we have a High Point pizza tradition to continue.
The savior coming through.
So when we hiked to the highest point in New Mexico, we got pizza afterwards. And then when we hiked to the highest point in Colorado, we also got pizza. And we decided that from here on out, anytime we hike to the highest point in a state, we're getting pizza. So we came to a spot in Lake Placid called Big Sly Brewer, I can't say that word, in Public House, and got us 2 pizzas. And I've never been so excited.
All right, the first one we got here is the OK Boomer, and that's a pretty funny name. It's got garlic creme fraiche base, mixed mushrooms, except we got those off, spinach, goat cheese, Dutch knuckle cheese, fennel, pollen, and truffle oil.
Super
That is
unique.
Very unique, and that is some ingredients.
Smells like garlic.
Ingredients, I don't know. I haven't even heard of half that stuff. That is super creamy, super garlicky. I love the spinach underneath there. It gives a little bit of freshness. This is a gluten-free crust here, and it's got good little chew to it, and then crispy on the edges.
This one has a nice little tang from the goat cheese. It's so garlicky. You do not want to kiss someone after eating this. Don't get this on a first date, but when you're married, who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Number 2 is the Hunter. Spinach and pumpkin seed pesto, smoked venison sausage, grilled onion, Dutch knuckle cheese, and pickled blueberries. What? It is super cheesy. The venison sausage hiding under there gives it a nice spicy flavor. And then the blueberry gave it like a really pop of, pickled flavor, but very sweet.
I would have never thought to put blueberries with pesto, but it gives it such a nice like pop of just juiciness and freshness and a little bit of sweetness.
We had originally planned to do a couple day hikes in the area and a separate day hike up to Mount Marcy, but the weather later in the week was looking kind of crummy, so we had to quickly reprioritize what we wanted to see in this area, and we last minute decided on this backpacking trip, and it was just awesome.
We're bummed to miss out on the other hikes, but we already know we'll be back to the Adirondacks and just upstate New York in general. Just even driving from Buffalo all the way out here, we saw so many things we wanted to come back for. It's so beautiful. And even though this backpacking trip kicked our butts, like, real good. Like, I feel I can barely keep my eyes open right now.
I got
I'm so
scratches
tired.
all over me, bruises, bumps, shoulders are destroyed.
It was definitely type 2 fun, which means that you hate it in the moment, but you look back on it fondly. So we had some highs, we had some lows, but we're really glad we did it. We've learned lately that we really like getting deeper into nature and kind of getting away from more of the crowds and just really challenging ourselves. And yeah, it did all of that.
So we're going to spend the next couple days resting and recuperating, get a little work in, and then we'll be off to New England, and our first stop will be Vermont.
It was cooler in my head. Bad experience.
Oh, Lord. Oh, no.
I'm just trying to be too cool.
This trail is never boring. It keeps you on your toes. I'm pretty sad that we're leaving the Adirondacks without summiting Little Nipple Mountain.
Little Nipple Top.
Little Nipple Top.
We couldn't have hiked. I mean, let's be real. We're like 10-year-olds inside. We couldn't have hiked Little Nipple Top and not just giggled the whole video. So it's probably best we stuck with Marcy.
Yeah.